Hi, it's Writing Workshop. This week we talked about adding speech bubbles to our writing, and we have a whole list here of goals that you can choose from. Today is one of the Writing Workshop days where I'd like for you to choose two goals. How many? Two. I want you to choose two goals to focus on and make sure that somewhere in your writing, or maybe it's something that's all throughout your writing, you really make sure that you're achieving those goals. So let's look at the options and then you can think about what you might want to choose. Stretch your words out and write down all the sounds that you hear. Use lowercase letters. Use spaces, so meatball spaces and spaghetti spaces. Use end marks. At the end of a sentence, a period, a question mark, an exclamation point. Maybe you have a goal for the number of pages. I want to write 2 pages. Maybe your goal is to stay focused the whole time or to use neat handwriting to create clear pictures, to add extra details. Maybe, excuse me, maybe it's really to make sure that you're following the story that's on your story map. Maybe it's rereading before you start writing for the day and rereading your sentence as you are writing. So if my sentence says add a speech bubble, I'll keep going back and reading the parts that I wrote previously to see what word comes next. And then I'll read it again to see what word comes next. Read it again. Okay. Say, then write. That's what we learned about last week. So telling your story to organize your thoughts before you get started. And from this week, add a speech bubble. So I want you to pick 2 things that you really are going to try hard to do today. Okay? 2 things. What will they be? This picture, of course, will be in the newsletter so that you can look at it to help you when you're trying to decide. And let's see, the magic word for today. Oh, I'm going to teach you something. Since we're studying plants in theme, there's a really neat plant, and I might have talked about it a little bit when we talked about the different types of plants, and we saw a slideshow about the cactuses down in the desert. There's one called a cholla, and it's called a jumping cholla because it has little barbs on the end of its spines, and if you get too close to it, one of its, they call them arms, the arms of the cactus will stick to your clothing or stick to your skin, and that whole arm falls right off the cactus. So they're called jumping cholla. I'll put a picture in the newsletter to show you jumping cholla. And here's a quick story. One time when I was camping in the desert, I had a dog named Kita, and she went too close to a jumping cholla. And then when she was, kind of off wandering around the campsite a little bit, and when she came back to me, she had an arm of the jumping cholla stuck in her nose because the whole arm came off the cactus, so it was stuck right to her nose. So that's a neat cactus. They're really pretty. Jumping cholla. That's the magic word for today. And I'll put a picture of a jumping cholla in the newsletter so that you can see it. They are neat. They're beautiful. But they have that really interesting thing about them that if you get too close, it's a really good way for them to protect themselves. If you get too close, part of it might come off on you. And it's not pleasant to get that back out of you. Okay. That was a little bit of a digression, but an interesting one. So, magic word for today is jumping cholla. So think about your goals, get settled, get organized. Someone in your family can say the magic word for you, jumping cholla. It's actually 2 words, jumping cholla. And then you can get started with writing. Okay, have fun.